Hey, I'm Doug Jones. You are watching Fanatics and the Fan.
Comic Force, Branson's destination comic and game shop. Comic Force, located in the shops at Branson Meadows.
And we are back, folks. This is Fanatics and the Fan. We're out here at our new sponsor, Comic Force, here in Branson. What's the address?
1252 Gretna Road, better known as the shops at Branson Meadows.
You had to stop and think.
Yes, I did. And that was wrong. That was wrong. The numbers are my home address. 46 something. I don't know. Shops at Branson Meadows, across from the movie theater.
4250.
4250. There was a 2 in there.
On the door.
Yeah.
All right.
I couldn't see the door. I tried to.
First of all, this is what you actually hang out here. You hang out here a lot, don't you?
Well, no, I've just started coming, so it's
the gaming stuff is off the.
Oh, it is fun. I just actually got done playing a draft tournament here.
Did you
Magic.
cheat?
I don't think so.
Third place.
Third place.
Third
Yeah.
place. So he didn't win. He wasn't. Oh, I just won.
He didn't suck them up.
That's good, though. That's good. Out of 4. No, yeah, there was more.
It was fine.
What did you play today?
I played a black-white vampire deck, so Magic. You weren't as specific. I played Magic the Gathering. Sorry, I forget. Not everybody's a gamer.
Magic the Gathering.
Not everybody's a gamer.
Did you say you did a vampire deck?
Yeah.
How, and you did
Hold on a
play
second.
how
Can we
many?
please articulate the
Yeah.
last word in that sentence, please?
Deck.
Deck.
Okay, because that's not what America just heard.
I
So-
support you and your deck of
So
vampires.
when one decides to run a comic book store, how do they just actively decide to keep their customers in the store, hanging out, doing nerdy stuff like playing Magic?
My wife made me.
See, now the truth is coming out. I knew there was something behind all
Yeah,
of this.
it was going to be just comic books, and she's like, no, you have to have gamers. And I'm like, you've never been in a gamer place, so you don't know what you're saying. And
turns out
she was right, though. She was
Explain
right.
to me
She
explain to
was
me
right.
the
Every
wall
great
of
man.
Yeah.
pop too, because that's the first thing I saw when I walked in the store was the wall of pop, and it's extensive.
My wife made me. Yeah. Now, I know the comic books. Well,
Do you know how many you have? How many
Pops?
different pops you have?
Oh, there's got to be.
Hundreds.
He's trying to
hundreds.
count. He's
There's
trying
gotta
to
be
count
hundreds,
right
yeah. And this is, I mean, you don't see what's in the back.
Right.
I could probably fill this shelf again.
Dude, there's Duck
the whole
Dodgers
thing.
ones over here.
Yeah.
So we're going
Yeah.
into some
I mean, they're
old
just
toys.
super popular.
Great.
So-
It crosses all.
You're a collector.
Fan
You collect
bases.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's pops do you have?
I have a lot of the Star Wars ones. I almost finished the Acquaint set from Road One.
What are you collecting this year? Are you jumping on the Infinity War one?
Well, they're coming out with some Rick and Morty ones.
Yes,
and,
they are.
There's a video game one that was coming out. Well, I can't remember what it was, but I saw that recently that it was just about to come out this year. So I'm excited. I love collecting.
Rick and Morty's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually got a lot.
I'm trying to get some limited edition Black Panther stuff this year. And anything that's so whatever Netflix is coming out with this year, as far as Defenders or Luke Cage, if I can get some of that, I want those stuff, not the comic stuff. I want the stuff from Netflix.
The movie.
You know, because
That's the comic one.
yeah, that's the comic one.
He's got a crown on. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's not even. See, that's what's
Watch
funny is
Luke Cage
it's
yet,
marked
Brandon?
as Luke Cage. That's not Luke Cage.
I mean, it's technically that's his actual name.
No,
Just because we can call him Power Man.
This is Power Man,
That is Power Man.
and that is so cool.
But what's Power Man's ultra identity? It's Luke Cage.
This is Power Man.
Power
Or
Man.
Either that.
Power
You know what this could be? This could be a knockoff from the one scene in Luke Cage. Spoiler alert: there's a scene with him dressed like this in the series.
He doesn't have the chain on.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't have the chain on.
Does he not? It looked like it. It looked like it.
He
I
does-
thought that scene was so funny. I'm
he
like,
does
oh,
have
they
the
really
crown,
did it. I thought that was really bold to make that scene happen.
Well,
I mean, they forced it.
Yeah, they did. It was
Clearly forced.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happened.
I would really like a Captain Mal Reynolds pop doll. If anyone has
Nice.
one, I would like one. I have the rest of the crew. Literally just need Mal.
I have an action
You're
figure.
just
Can't help
knocking
you with a
everything
pop.
over.
Yep.
Okay. He's
Yeah, we-
discontinued. Like they stopped making it.
Yeah.
You know what you should do? You know what we do? You know what?
Thank you, Levi.
Nathan Fillion, you are a huge nerd, and we'd love to have you on the show. So if you can get her, we'll bring you on the show if you can get her a pop.
Yeah, that's the stipulation. Not if you go, hey, I would like to be on your podcast specifically. We're going to turn you down if you don't give me a doll.
Yeah, right. Just shoot me an email, buddy.
I have
I
the
know
doll.
you're not
Can I
doing
be
much
on the
right
show
now,
now?
so you know.
Please, I've been waiting for so long.
Please, I'm so sorry.
So I brought in. I didn't introduce her because shame on me, but this is Mindy. Everybody say hi to Mindy.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi.
I didn't bring her because she's a hot girl. Now,
I did.
I know now for next time to switch sides, so she's on the other side, right?
It's
I'm
too
trying to-
beautiful.
I'm trying to
Just
pull it
needs
back.
to be the center focus.
So now you have a comic that just came out.
Yes, it came out December 1st on magcloud.com. So it's only on. It's a print on demand website. So it ships straight to you and just takes out the price that it costs
That's
to print.
not necessarily true
What?
because the Comic Force is going to be carrying your comic starting next month.
Next month I could get it there by then for sure.
So that was
Here,
magcloud.com.
magcloud.com.
And what's the name of your comic?
It's called Nest, and it's under the username M Kilgore Comics, and Kilgore is Kilgore. People usually have trouble getting the
what's
right
it about?
spelling of that. It's a horror comic. It was kind of inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Right.
So it's about like a being that visits somebody until they drives them insane.
So it's like marriage.
Yeah, that's actually all it is about.
One big marriage
I
allegory
mean,
right
that's
there.
not funny.
Yeah.
Sitting here talking to her about just creating a comic. What would you guys like to see as a comic right now?
Pirates.
Pirates
I
are
get
good.
so many people coming in here asking for, do you have anything about pirates? One, but it's not kid friendly. So
What about you? What would you love to see as a comic?
I actually agree with pirates. We've got a lot of space things going
Right.
on. There's always really random, actually Rat Queens is over there. I really like Rat Queens.
Right.
But pirates really is something that we don't have, and it's not like there's not a basis for it. Assassin's Creed could dump out a new graphic
Yes.
novel, and it could be pirates.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everybody would be on board for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
And we do have a limited supply of pirate things and no lack of interest in them.
yeah.
One of the things that I'm hoping to do this year, 2018, my son recently put out a book, and he wants to turn it into a graphic novel, and it's a lot like if you saw the movie Bright, which at least two of us here did, and we loved it. It's basically the prequel of that. With the same 9 races and everything. I love it. I'd love to do that as a graphic novel because in most of those stories, like in your Lord of the Rings and or any of this, I'm trying to think of it, Warcraft. They're very limited in with the amount of races. They'll take the 5 races and they'll do.
I don't
offshoots
know.
of
Warcraft just makes up new things every year.
They don't actually make up new races. They just take the same races and they do offshoots of them. Really, they just change a little bit.
Pandas. That's all I
Right.
gotta say.
Yeah, the pandas was. That one I was like, really? That was actually the last expansion I bought too.
Same.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
That's
I
when I
like
left.
pandas.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
I left after I bought it. I
Yeah.
played it for like 3 months, and then I was like, you know what? Let's see what's happening with Star Wars right now. Which I've stopped playing that too.
The Old Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play that too.
Yeah, I stopped playing. I left Old Republic, started Star Trek. Stopped playing that too.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Rooker, and you're listening to Fanatics and the Fans.
Hey, I'm Spoo,
And I'm Dee from Springfield, Missouri.
and host of YouTube's The Show. We are VisionCon.
Our artist spotlight, I love it. I love it. I think the artist spotlight is one of my favorite things because there's so much talent. And for those of you that don't know, that we don't pick the artist spotlight. The artist picks the artist spotlight. This month, we did a little clip of him last week, but this week, actually, somebody interviewed him.
I did. I got to interview Chris Yarborough.
The
He's-
Viking.
really cool. He wore a kilt and a
Yeah, man, brother didn't wear pants for
Jurassic
for
Park
camera.
sweatshirt for the whole
I apologize ahead of time for the audio. The audio is the only problem with the audio is on his side, not my side. And as far as the bad lighting, it's not bad lighting. He is that pale. So
I rival his paleness in this. It's like two ghosts interviewing each other. It's pretty intense.
We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. We're here with Fanatics and the Fan. We're doing our Artist Spotlight featuring Chris Yarborough. And we're going to talk with him about some of his art, some of his inspiration, the way that you do some things. Because you do a painting, like live paints, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how does that work? So do you just like Bob Ross style, here's how I paint little happy trees? Or do you just like have a camera focused on the art and just art?
A few of my friends, they stream. And I just really enjoy it. I think I'm enough of a narcissist that I'm just like, hey. So, yeah, it just kind of stemmed from wanting to make some video content. I'm kind of dipping my toes into, like, moving into, like, a YouTube channel.
Okay, cool. And I mean, like, live streaming is definitely a good way to start doing that. Are you seeing your fan base grow at all? Like, people are participating and commenting and watching?
Yeah, I get quite a few comments. It's interesting because, like, with my art posts, like when I'm just posting static art, I get more likes and shares, but I get far more interaction in the videos. I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious, but it's just neat to see that it kind of inverses.
Right, and the kind of dichotomy of it, because people are willing to participate and get that, like, hands-on experience of commenting and asking questions while you work, as opposed to, hey, look at this cool thing that's already done, and it's on its way. And I've seen some of your art. I went through a big portfolio, the folder that you sent us. And again, Xena Warrior Princess, huge fan. I think that's a great piece. I'm all about that. But you've got a lot of fantasy stuff. You've got a lot of original content fantasy. You've got some like darker, like almost like nightmare-y type things with all the black and white and how it's very severe and like the different perspectives of it. So where do you get a lot of your inspiration from? Does it just...
Well, I don't think it's too much more like a kind of visceral feeling I get, like, oh, today I want to do this thing. And it's not even a word, it's like this concept, like, I want to tackle this. And sometimes that can come from, like, say I see a Frazetta piece, and I love the energy of it. Like, I wouldn't, like, sit there and ape it, obviously. But to capture that kind of energy, that can be inspiring for me, too. Energy is kind of something I strive to do.
And that's something that people look at in art a lot, is like the basis energy of the piece and how it speaks to the individual person. Like, even if the content is just kind of like, oh, that's cool, if like there's a deep feeling behind it and some sort of energy from the artist that's poured into it, can be really inspirational for looking at art, buying art, creating your own art from it. And I think it's really easy to see in your pieces that you do have a lot of energy going into every single one. And I think that's really refreshing and that's really cool. You do a lot of fantasy stuff. Is that like your drive? Is that your passion mostly in fantasy? Or like is there a specific genre of it that you go for more?
Pretty much all fantasy. I ran around the woods as a little kid with a stick in hand, pretending I was a knight.
Right.
And that stuck 100%. I think I snuck into a room one time to watch Conan the Barbarian when I was real little, and it was the R-rated Conan the Barbarian, so I don't know, it just really hit me hard as a little kid, and it just never went away. I guess I never really developed past, like, 14. I just never grew past that.
Well, that's okay, because your energy, it speaks to all kinds of different people, too, the art level, because there were some Zelda ones in there that were like little Link running around and doing his thing, and then there were these really deep pieces of fantasy art, too, that are very original, and people can be like, oh, that's really cool, I love this piece, and all that, and I think that is really refreshing. Thanks, this was a really fun interview. You're on Facebook, right?
I honestly would say look at my Instagram stuff, that's where I post more stuff.
Instagram.
But my Facebook like fan page is just awful. I haven't touched it in years because of algorithms and
all that. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I had a great time. Thanks everyone.
Bye, Chris.
folks. That was so. I was directing Liz for that interview, which I'm going to do less of next time, because she's annoying to work with. I love her, but
He kept walking away to go make ribs.
hold on. I fed you, woman.
You fed me after the interview that you were not there for. Thank you.
Why is there no ribs now?
Because I don't like you as much.
You
as
don't
I
have a kitchen here.
So you and the Viking had fun. Any of his art that you love the best?
Okay, so there was a Xena drawing. If y'all didn't hear me talk about that during the interview, because I brought it up like 3 times.
Yeah.
There's this Xena drawing that was just perfect. It was this really stark black and white. Xena's looking powerful as hell. I loved it. There were some Zelda ones that he did that were really good.
Yeah.
And his original fantasy stuff, he had these really beautiful like castles, and there was this one that he said was his favorite of a warrior woman running with a sword, and he did really great highlight and stuff on that because he was experimenting with skin tone. And it's mostly about his energy in all of the pieces. He's got just a ton of enthusiasm towards what he's working on.
I like his painting. I love his live show. I think it's cool. I mean, I can't paint. I can't do any of the stuff that he can do. I'm not even going to try to do it, but I love that he's out there doing it.
Yeah, and he does live streams of them. So he just gets on the Facebook live feed and he does these paintings, and people can comment as he's doing them. He can respond in real time to them. He's going to start getting a Twitch or something along those lines to do it in a more streamlined fashion than Facebook.
Hi, I'm Samantha Inoue Hart. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'm a voice actor. And I am VisionCon.
We are Amanda and Chris Cole from the Doctor Who Match Machine, and we are VisionCon.
Comic Force.
So now that we have the expert, we have 2 experts on here that know a little bit about comics.
We got promoted.
Expert.
Here's why I have fanatics like them on the show, because here's where I stand on the situation. They suck now. Get better. Although,
because you read Marvel and DC.
Independence is like, I mean, it's where it's at.
Right.
I mean, there's some good stuff with Marvel and DC, don't get me wrong. But Independence is, I mean, I've got a whole row of Independence, and people come in here, and the first thing they do is go, oh, look at all these independent. Nobody says, oh, DC and Marvel. They're like, oh, look at all these independents. and there is good stories with DC and Marvel. I don't want to take away, but
I was on New Warriors, Exiles, and Thunderbolts. When they first came out, I got to number 1s. And they were great. I stuck with them. And then they changed. They changed writers. They changed. And so.
Yep. Well, that's a perfect example of that is like Monsters Unleashed.
Yes.
The first like 6 of those before the main run were amazing because of Cullen Bunn.
Well, yeah.
And then
it's our buddy Cullen.
Like,
okay?
yeah, and then I mean, anything he touches is going to be great.
Which, Cullen, we're going to have you back on the show real soon, buddy. I promise.
You've had Cullen on the show?
A couple of times. He was actually one of my first shows.
I want to be on the
about
show
to
with
fan
Cullen.
I would say you're going to name at VisionCon, but I've never actually seen Cullen at VisionCon.
He hasn't actually vended in a while. He was a guest 4 years ago. One of the first years we were down here in Branson.
Complain to the guy that runs VisionCon about Cullen Bunn not being in VisionCon this year.
It's unspeakable.
Yeah.
It's kind of a busy schedule to begin with.
Yeah. So the president blames the talent. I see how that goes.
But my point on that was like he's doing a book Regression. He's on it through the whole thing.
So it's about this show?
And it's amazing. It's amazing. If they keep their good writers,
I've never seen Cullen put out something that wasn't amazing. Or at least, like, I read one of his books. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was a Magneto. And I was like, damn, Cullen, really?
Yeah. But
you scare me a little.
He didn't start it, though, and then leave with the independence. He stays with it. Nobody's taken off. It's taken him off. It's his book. So it stays good. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about independence.
How's a 6-gun sell?
Well, it's an S, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So it was right here when I got here. Somebody bought one.
Oh, really?
It's right there.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
There's 6-gun.
Yeah.
6-gun. Shameless promotion from my buddy Cullen Bunn. Yes.
We could go through that wall and do some shameless promotions. He's got a few in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna do another one in a minute.
Couple.
But I bought that for my son. I really can't wait for that to turn live action. If he could just get through that particular piece of drama.
The gaming back there, do you have a way, like, is it like a sheet or something, or like a page where people like organize like their like Dungeons and Dragons
No,
games?
it's a battle royal. It's like a Thunderdome thing. Yes, everybody steps in the cage. That determines who gets to play that
You
night.
standing there with a sign like, please, I would like to play until somebody comes.
That's about happened. For Magic, that is pretty much. There's no sign usually, but they just wander around until somebody comes in and plays, which usually isn't very long. So Magic does go down like that. The Dungeons and Dragons, though, there actually is a sign-up sheet that some DMs will come put up a sheet.
Did you
sign up?
I need to do that.
I have
never
played Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god, I love Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm taking all your nerd cred is taking a nosedive right now.
I know. I get that a lot. It's like something will, Pokemon or something. I'm like, I don't know about Pokemon.
I don't know.
People are like, how do you run a comic shop and not know about
only
Pokemon?
know so much.
That's
though.
like, yeah.
You should learn about Pokemon Go though. So shame on you for not knowing that.
They're doing a Harry Potter Go, and you should definitely learn about that.
Harry Potter Go?
I don't know how that's even going to work.
I didn't know how Pokemon Go was going to
be
work.
a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy stock in the company that's doing it, though. I'll tell you that.
That's a great.
Comic Force, Branson's destination comic and game shop. Comic Force, located in the shops at Branson Meadows.
After Hours, we are VisionCon, right?
Right.
We're VisionCon.
We are VisionCon.